Welcome, everyone, to the Dynamic Directions Confidence in Crisis number 3 webinar. We had a little glitch in our system, so we weren't able to record, but Drew and I made a promise we're going to deliver for you and get our word out here. So we're going to start off. Drew, talk to us a little bit about what's happened since last week in our last webinar as it relates to what's going on with the markets and client interactions.
Yes, Travis, as we said last week, we definitely want to be on the offensive. So we think the best defense is to be on the offense. So we've been proactively calling clients. When this started, we started with the top of the book, and we've kind of worked our way down. But in general, in order to kind of marshal and save your energy, we've really tried to drive as many clients as possible to the conference calls that we do every Tuesday and Thursday evening.
So that's systematic, right? You've stuck with the same dates and same times.
Yes.
And what's your attendance been like?
We've been averaging over 60. I think we had 66 on the call on this Tuesday night. The numbers from the Thursday night call haven't come in yet, but we've been consistently right at 60 or above. So we have, I can tell you the attendance on the calls are really primarily the top third of the client base as well, and get a lot of positive feedback and referrals from that. So, one of the things that I know is spending my time outside of the calls, one-on-one with clients, it can be exhausting. So we've really tried to kind of measure who we spend our time with by thinking about which clients need us more in relation to, say, their lifetime value. So
tell us more about lifetime value for those who don't understand that concept. What is it, and how did you apply it to the situation?
It's an exercise every advisor needs to know. It's looking at your client base based on their age, their savings, their earnings, potential inheritances, et cetera, and multiply that by the number of years you anticipate working with them. And you'll know, a 48-year-old $3 million client is really probably worth the same as a 68-year-old $10 million client. The math isn't exactly right, but you get the gist. So we try to spend more time with our younger, higher earning clients on the phones away from the conference call lines than, say, some of the other clients. Now, obviously, with our top tier, those people are getting communicated with almost daily, some multiple times per day, and they're hearing from us many times per week. The other piece of this strategy, and I just did this last night, was our top tier clients. This is the time to wrap their children in, and so we did kind of a family call, and son and mom are totally fine talking about the situations together. Number one, we were able to kind of use that time wisely because we killed 2 birds with 1 stone. But essentially, that's a almost 8-figure client, and he's going to be the heir. So that's time wisely, especially if you think about that lifetime value. The mother's in her late 70s, the son's early 40s. It just kind of works in a format that's pretty good from that strategy.
So multi-generational planning / marketing. Now you're really trying to drive the relatives, the heirs, to your higher end clients to these calls as a way to build a relationship with them if you don't already have that.
Exactly right. And this is the time to do it. One of our 8-figure clients, we'd had kind of a little bit of a rocky relationship with some of the kids. We've used this time and a lot of my team's time to kind of patch that up and do a lot of great work for the kids there. But I also explain this to my team. They're like, wow, this person, they've got, $24,000 with us. What? That's well, because they're going to get half of $12 million at some point. So this is really a time to focus on the next generation of your top clients to kind of build that bridge to make sure, everything's functioning the way you want it to. And that's been a great thing for us. Now, what we're launching next week is also a targeted niche conference call with a couple of the employers that we work very deep with here in town, some of the gas pipelines. I think Bob's doing the same thing with BAE. So we're going to start that and do that over lunch. Promise to probably be no more than 25 to 30 minutes. They give them valuable information, and also how does it pertain to their benefits specifically at this time. So that will be rolled out next week, and we'll be able to report back, in a few days on how well that, was ended.
And that's where you're inviting the clients of those companies, asking them to invite their colleagues to talk about specifically, what's going on in the market, but how this could pertain to their benefits, their options, investment options within their company.
And I think the key exactly is to start each conversation on these conference calls, but also with your team in the morning meetings. We're doing meetings every day, and I just left one with this. Anytime they interact with the client and myself on the conference calls, you want to identify, look, there's a lot of uncertainty and panic there. And what I've been saying is, look, if you've been happy with the level of service that you've gotten from us, and there's family, friends, coworkers, neighbors that have not had this type of level of service, we would be honored and happy to talk with them. There's no obligation.
Right.
We're in this to help people because we know people are concerned. And I did that last night on my call. I started the call with it, and then I finished it like a good preacher. I'm half Catholic but half Baptist. You want to have the altar call.
Right.
And so those of you in the South know what the altar call is. So I did that. Got home. Stacy and I changed. We went out on our nightly walk. Went by one of our very good geology clients from Southern Star. He's retired, Mark and Susan. They were having a driveway party with their next door neighbor that used to own a tire and auto repair business here in town. And we came down their alley. We didn't see them, and the neighbor's wife, who they're not clients, they said, "Drew, we just heard you on the phone. How did you get here so fast?" So, but it was, and they said, "Look," she said, "these people never even talked to us before." So obviously, this is something. It's not going to be a one-time occurrence. Every interaction on the conference calls, and then remind your staff every time they call somebody, just to let them know. Especially, it's really easy when the clients are thanking them, because most clients, they're empathetic. They know this is a stressful time for everybody. You're very busy. That's when you want to insert the ask. Don't beat them over the head with it. Once they say, "Hey, thank you," that's when you insert the ask. Our property casualty agent, he was on the call last night. He's a client of ours. He sent me an email. It's got him thanking. So we'll see how that goes. But
excellent. So you're walking around the neighborhood and you're got some stardom going. People recognizing, who you are and your voice. That's awesome. Well, any other marketing activities to talk about that you're doing? I know my wife at Studio Slant's doing some things for you all. What are some of those things that you're going to be doing around marketing and the client experience and wow?
So what we're doing, we have our prospect list, and so a couple things. From a marketing standpoint, for local people, given some delivery stuff being shipped here, red tape we've done kind of an Italian meal to go. Christy's getting us some cool looking baskets, but basically there's my favorite restaurant, Italian restaurant in New York, Rayo's, sauce, pasta, a nice bottle of wine at Stag's Leap, the Investor bottle. It came out of
bringing out the big dogs here out of the wine cellar.
Yes, it looks impressive, but it's a good price point. If I was at Costco's Wine Club selling you there, but we're going to put a little note with that. Those will hopefully go out the door today. We also have some travel books that have been ordered that will go out to kind of more of the farther away people. So generally, that's kind of our targeted prospect marketing. A handwritten note with all that, and an offer to reach out and help them in any way we can as well.
Yeah, well, and some other things we're doing here in the community. We're teaming up. One of our clients owns a local Mexican restaurant. He's done a fantastic job of giving to the community. He's had free meals, for almost 2 weeks. He's done it off and on, meeting at various locations, helping the needy. So we reached out to him. There's a local shelter called the Daniel Patino Shelter, and we're sponsoring, I think, 4 meals that he's going to take care of. So we're helping him. I told him on the phone the other night, I'm like, "Hey, I actually got a paid job for you. We want to pay you You're doing such a great job in the community of just giving food out to the needy. We want to take care of the Patino shelter for several meals. So we worked with Armando to get that going. So don't forget about, all of us are blessed in that, if we're taking our advice around financial planning, we should be giving and taking care of the community that we're serving.
And we're also doing we're doing meals for first responders.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
At the fire department. And then we've ordered kind of more of a superhero, Wonder Woman, Superman, I would say kind of placard, credential holder for the medical people, clients of ours that are doctors, nurses on the front lines fighting this. And as BCA's calling it, World War V.
World War V.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and on those badges that'll go on, the medical professionals who wear their badge, it'll be an emblem that go with that. They can tag it on the back that have a logo. And you're also going to put a nice note on there thanking them for doing that. So very cool. So Drew, what are some things that you're doing then as far as strategy as it relates to investments and things that people can do to take advantage of what's going on in the marketplace right now?
Well, we're starting from, the financial planning point. On March 11th, in the Before the Bell, Ameriprise laid out really the science behind dollar cost averaging in a crisis, and they show how it was back tested during the 2008 crisis. And that's been the piece we've been sending to clients because we've told them, look, Travis remembers this term, this is the old stock recovery plan. Mm-hmm. So our recovery plan is to begin a very disciplined dollar cost averaging strategy. We've told them how it will work. They've seen some of the trades happen. We started it this week. And we also told them the different waypoints along the road that we're going to be looking for to either accelerate it or decelerate it. Now, this is very important because one of the things, if you're on a big team, you're going to have some AFAs that are worried. I mean, they're scared, and they'll let probably their emotions try to cloud their judgment. It's clear. Look at this article. It's very easy to read. It will take you, 3 minutes to go through it. You can even read it again. But basically, the proof is in the pudding, and we know dollar cost averaging works because obviously the way we're explaining it, this is just how you made your fortune when you were working and putting money in the 401k every other week or every week while you were working, and this is how we'll recover the fortune now. So use volatility to your advantage instead of having it beat you up. So that's number one. Also, we have a lot of brokerage strategies that we've been using, UITs, individual bond purchases. These are basically, commission products.
Yeah, well, let's talk a little about that, the premise behind that. Most of us have an overweighting in recurring revenue. Mm-hmm. In fact, I was talking to one practice this week, and their average, their ratio is like 95% recurring, 5% transactional. And really, I think a healthy mix is 85-15, based on my research and evidence provided, like on valuations of practices and so forth. And so that's one of the things that we examined. Let's look at our product mix. Because you're looking at that for new money, correct? This isn't we're taking money from existing accounts as far as like managed accounts. You're just saying the new money coming in we're using for brokerage strategies.
Yes, and we had a fair number of brokerage accounts anyway with what's cash. So new money and existing brokerage things. So, it's easier to sell a story than it is an investment. And here's kind of the stories. If you have clients that saying, hey, I do want to take advantage of this downturn, First Trust has a couple of really good UITs. One of them is basically what I would consider to be their dividend aristocrats. It's their flagship strategy. Clients are going to know all the stocks in that portfolio. If they pay a dividend, increase the dividend. That's for your clients that have heard on the radio or they've listened to you that now's the time to buy blue chip stocks for the long run. Another strategy that they have is the Innovative Healthcare UIT. This is for the clients. It's a very easy conversation, especially if they're like, hey, I know this is going to change the world. There's going to be a lot of money put behind this to try to find a cure. Healthcare is going to be an area that's going to get a lot of investment in it. The UIT, kind of one ticket, boom, you've gotten invested in about 20-25 innovative healthcare providers. Another thing that you could buy just with the commission is, property and casualty insurers. Look for an ETF of these, and really it's kind of like I was describing is ultimately, especially the auto and homeowners insurance, coronavirus isn't something that's covered. You're going to have fewer people driving, which means fewer accidents, which means fewer claims. And
higher profits.
Yes, because when's the last time your insurance has gone down, especially automobile insurance, especially if you have kids. So that's an easy story there. Individual bonds, this is kind of an easy story too. Given the lack of liquidity and price dislocation, you're going to be able to pick up some pretty good names at very deep discounts in bonds and preferred stocks. So the thing with preferred stocks that may make it even more attractive is some of those will be taxed as a qualified dividend. So this would be a very good long-term buy and hold strategy for clients. Obviously do this in a brokerage account because that's more suitable actually than a managed account on something that you're going to own for 10 years or so. So that's on the investment front. Whenever there's a crisis like this, it's a good time for people to re-examine, for as bad as this is, how it could get worse. What if you died? What if you went into a nursing home?
Right. And
it really is an easy segue into a conversation about insurance. I will give a big time shout out to RiverSource. Their ability to kind of get things through underwriting, kind of a shortened application process has worked very, very well. And I tip my cap to those guys, and I would say, give them a shot with your business because, it's a good opportunity. The other thing that's going to be happening is on the planning front, there'll be a couple of strategies that will help all this kind of work together. One is tax loss selling. If you're like me and feel like, at some point we're going to be on the other side of this crisis, go ahead, rack up the losses now. People, if they can't use them all this year, they'll be able to use them going forward. The second thing is it's a great idea to do Roth conversions.
Hold on, let's go back to the tax loss selling, because you're selling, but you're also buying something similar so that they stay in the market on a similar asset category, similar company, so that they're not missing out the opportunity.
To come back, exactly right. So you could sell, let's say, for example, the triple Qs and either come back and buy Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, which is 33% of the triple Qs individually, or you could buy another Vanguard index that has similar holdings. So there's ways to keep people invested at activating the loss. Roth conversions are easy, and really what we've done is just converted the shares, so you don't have to sell anything. So and gift. Same thing goes for gifts. Clients can gift. Now there's tax rules about what the new basis is in the gift if things are at a loss. But we did a lot of conversions and gifts of Boeing this week before it popped, and it's been a wonderful thing for the kids or the Roth IRAs because they went from 95 to 180 yesterday. So that's kind of the outlier case. But these are blue chip companies, Boeing, Chevron.
Right.
Those have been primarily what we've converted or gifted. We've also been kind of pounding the table on our conference calls and interactions with clients. Hey, if you need to do a Roth, anything you can accelerate, bring a check in. And that clearing call has been heated, and we've had a steady stream of checks coming in. A success story with, our friend Jimmy in Chattanooga. He picked up a $400,000 check yesterday afternoon before he called me. So people are getting out there, they're getting cash in the door, and these are great things to make things work.
Let's talk a little bit about your team findings, and I'll round this off with some other strategies. What are some things that you're noticing or that we should be paying attention to as advisors?
Well, and this is one of these things I was shocked because the team call I just had is some advisors are self-discovering this. Number one, a lot of people are much more productive working from home, and really what it comes down to is they're more productive because there's less distractions.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is probably finding number one, that not only if you have people that are distracting team members, they're probably not only hurting their own productivity, but the team in general, and, have everything run through CRM as tasks or emailed That way, when this is over, you can go back and do a post-mortem and really look at how much work got done and who your high performers were. We also encouraged, we have all of our staff just keeping also the old-fashioned legal pad next to them. So that way, every day, they write out what they're doing and we kind of know where things are happening. Our managing director here at this location, he noticed, even Wednesday or Thursday, we had a discussion about this, that the turnaround time on what he's having the support staff do who are working remotely is much faster. Part of that is this crisis has created urgency. For people, creating urgency is an age-old management, I would say, kind of
desire for everyone.
Yeah.
How can we create urgency?
Yes, yeah. This is really, the being able to spin straw into gold, and this crisis has created that. So how do we basically let everybody know we know where the bar is for this team? This is where we're going to expect people to be. And my colleagues in bigger practices, what they've noticed already is there's probably some overcapacity and ways that they can get more out of the team than they have before. And I think every team, this is an opportunity to examine that to really basically maximize everybody's potential because, we see this as an opportunity where everybody's pulling on the rope the same direction.
Right. All right. Well, hey, thank you, Drew. Great tips. I highly suggest you consider and review and take into account based on what Drew said, how that could pertain to you. We're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to come back with some additional tips from our friend Bob Bonfilio up in Rise.
Let's say it together.
Bob Bonfilio. So I'll be back and talk about what he's got going on and share some best practices along with just a smattering of other things that I think are pertinent to what's going on right now. So be bullish on life, and we'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I first want to talk about some of the insights that Bob Bonfilio and his group at Rise Private Wealth, insights based on things that they're implementing to make this a super success as it relates to the transition from home and marketing virtually. So Bob and his team, they went virtual about 3 weeks ago. Because of their investment in technology, their ability to do WebExes already, they've been doing that for several years. They were up to speed on all the things as far as laptops, surfaces, and so forth. It was generally an easy transition for them. So that was cool. And then a communication plan, much like we've talked about before, they implemented whatever they had before as far as one-on-ones or inter-team meetings departmentally. Those were going on. They put together a daily check-in, one that's for operations, that their operations director, Nicole, who does a fantastic job, leads. And then they do one for their advisor call that's led by Ryan McCabe, who's their sales leader for the whole organization. And so they've been clicking along, doing everything virtually. What they're doing is they're using Skype for any of the intra-team meetings, and they're using WebEx for the client meetings. They're also having their partners, the leadership team, reach out randomly every day to 2 or 3 people just to do check-ins. Hey, how you doing? Is there anything I can help you with? Giving encouragement, giving praise. So I think that's important to note. One of the things that Bob did too early on is he sent a message to his team, and I think you've already received that from us, basically saying, hey, we've been taking our own medicine. Therefore, we're in a very strong financial position. We're going to be able to not only weather the storm, but we think come out, way ahead. And he did this, and I like why he did this, and this is something we've been preaching as well, because let's face it, your team is on the front lines. They're dealing with your clients. I'm sure you've already had people who've been laid off, lost their jobs, collecting or filing for unemployment. And so it's important that we reassure our team members that they're going to be okay with with their job and their security. So that way we're removing any tension or anxiety they may have, because we don't want that tension to bleed over into client interaction. So I thought that was very important. Some things that they're doing I think are pretty cool. They are doing something once a week for their team. So, for example, they gave them a night off from cooking. They were able to order from some local restaurants and send some food to them for one night. They did a virtual workout earlier this week where about half a dozen of them got together in the morning, got on Skype, and did a workout together, which I think was cool. And you've probably heard people doing this. I see this on Facebook a lot, doing virtual happy hours. So there again, everybody getting on Skype. They're wherever they are. They're drinking their favorite drink. They're talking, laughing, and sharing stories. So I think that's important as well, as we're trying to build community while we're in this isolated, state that we're in with shelter in place. So I think those are some cool things that you should be doing. Of course, as far as clients, have been doing a lot of what Drew's been talking about, doing the proactive reach out, sending the emails, calling everyone. They implemented their first conference call. I think earlier this week, they had over 400 people on it on a market update. Bob and the rest of the firm are now taking that approach. You're going to do that weekly for everyone, but then they're also going to pick some of their companies that they have a great relationship with, much like Drew said earlier, to start doing some things at lunchtime and giving a market update, but also talking about and really demonstrating their expertise and their benefits and some things and strategies they should be considering to take advantage of the current market volatility within their own benefits. Excuse me. So those are some things that when I talked to Bob, and he was on the call the other night, that he went over. And one of the things that Bob really exudes is confidence when he's talking about the direction of the firm, when he's talking, to an individual client. And I think that's really important. In fact, we sent out an attachment that the Hartford Funds have put together, kind of looking at some notes down here, about the difference between being more confident and less confident. So we definitely want to be more confident. But, it's just some tips around body language, how to say things, words to use. And I think that's really important in the wake of, people panic, high anxiety, and stress. You got to think about what your role in all of this is. And how can you be that light in the desert? How can you be that voice of reason and calmness to help people take the emotion out of the air and really apply logic? So I would highly recommend that you look at that article that we sent the attachment, especially pass it on to your advisors who are on the front lines talking to clients. But I think it's also important to give to your staff, especially those who are receiving the initial call before they pass on to you. So very good stuff there. We've got to be confident in this crisis. Some other things to consider, Drew mentioned it in his segment. He's doing some things for medical professionals. We actually got that from Debbie Durr, who's in A.J. Jugan and Jeff Zahada's practice up in the Pittsburgh area. Right after this happened, Deb, without even being prompted, found some nice little badges. That one has a Superman, it's about this big, emblem on it. The other one has a Wonder Woman. And they sent these out, and they can be attached to the identification cards a lot of medical professionals have to wear, with a nice note, just letting them know how thankful they were for being, on the front lines of this, and that you actually are either our Superman or Wonder Woman. So I think that's excellent to do. Thanks, Deb, for starting something like that. I now have several practices who want to do that. I know we're doing that here. The other things you can do, and Drew alluded to it earlier, we're sending meals out to some of the first responders, like the fire department, and some of our medical professionals that we work with. So I think you could do that. My wife, who has our Store Studios plant, has been helping Drew out, also putting together some gift baskets around wine and meals that they can make. Also looking at, lotion. Right now, so much hand sanitizer is being used. A lot of people are looking for the care of their hands, especially even the medical professionals who are wearing the mask, so they're just starting to get dry up through there. So there's just some nice things to do, to really take care of those, first responders and medical professionals who are out on the front lines on this. I think another important area to pay attention to is our small businesses. You probably look at your book of business, and you have probably a lot of, entrepreneurs in there, a lot of small, locally owned businesses who may be struggling right now. So what are some things you can do for them? I know that after talking with Lester Moutlock a couple of weeks ago, I picked up on his lead where he was prepaying a lot of the services, especially the ones that he knew were going to be impacted by this. And so I know that we've been doing that as well. So, hey, how can you prepay a service you know you're going to use in the future? I think that's important. Reach out. Tell them I'm here for you. I know you can't do anything for me during this, state of shelter we're in, but once this thing's lifted, we can get back together. But here, let me go ahead and prepay some services. A lot of small businesses are offering gift cards right now, even at a discount. So those are some things you can do. Go ahead and buy some gift cards to either use for yourself or maybe give as a gift to a client or a prospect. I think you could also give a lot of love on social media. This is a good time to pass on any posts they might be putting out there about what they do and how they do it and what they're, what you can do, especially right now during this crisis and then post-crisis. I think once the stimulus package is official and we get something from Ameriprise stating, hey, this is the summation of it, here's what you can do, here's the resources, I think it'd be important that you get that out together. I think another thing you could do is open up a local tab at a restaurant. So just sending the meals, you could actually inform your clients or these small businesses that, hey, we've got you covered. Go down to XYZ restaurant, or call them, can't go down there, but call them, make the order, let them know you're with us because your name's going to be on our list, and send them a meal that way. And obviously, just offer your assistance, your financial advisor. You're ready for this kind of crisis. You can listen and you can help them based on your prowess and savviness as an advisor and business owner in this time of need. So I think that's really important. As it relates to marketing, you heard some great ideas from Drew. The niche marketing, going back to if you're doing a conference call for everyone, I'd really find some conference call opportunities during the day, maybe at lunchtime that you can do for companies. I think that's a great way to, bring your clients there, offer some value, as well as have them invite their colleagues and coworkers so they get a taste of what you're doing. And then you can exude your expertise on their benefits and things that might be impacted because of the market volatility and what opportunities might have there. So I think that's an excellent idea. This is a good time to send gifts, assuming you can get those out. There again, find a local business. I know my wife and I, we have Studio Slant. She's been doing a lot of this right now because people can't come into the store, but people are wanting to basically give gifts right now. Hey, birthdays are still going on. Anniversaries are still going on. There's still these milestones in life to celebrate. This, like I said, you could pick some kind of gift to send to people right now in those niches, so you can get that out. You can also, it's a great time, I know we've been talking about asking for referrals, but when we're asking for referrals from a niche, I think the approach is a little bit different and a little more effective when you use this. I think it's important that you let those clients know that, hey, I enjoy working with people like you who are employed at ABC Company. Over the years, I've gotten to know you. I know your benefits. I really have a good handle on how to help you maximize those. And so what I would like to ask you is if you were me, what would you do to have or get more clients like you from ABC Company? And just be quiet. It's a very narrow focus here, but I think if you're looking at really growing through a niche, that's a great way to ask for referrals. And let's face it, people are available, so we should be, shouldn't be that hard to catch people, especially if you're not working just your normal hours. I think people are eager for some distractions. They're eager to talk. We haven't had a crisis like this since 08, 09, at least as the market's concerned. The health crisis, we're going back, even a much longer time on that. So the other thing is, as you look at your prospect list, identifying those in your niches, reaching out directly and letting them know that you're having a conference call, for example, and you'd love for them to be there, or their benefits and what they have, and just ask, hey, I just want to be a resource right now. I know we've restate what you've done for your clients and let them know that's what you're willing to do right now for them. So I think it's important that even though we're marketing, it's a great opportunity to market, and we're changing the way we're marketing, don't forget your focus on the niche marketing. Last couple things here before we close it down. In the email we sent out yesterday, we have the instructions. We launched a WOW contest. This is a great time to share some best practices within the Dynamic Directions community. That's on a private Facebook page on instructions on how to get there. We're also having a picture contest. where we're asking you to send us the pictures, your team members, of how well they're working at home, what's the setup look like. Just looking for some cool pics that we can post, and we're actually going to create a contest, and the winner of that will get a $250 donation that will go to the charity of choice. So just trying to have a little fun right now within the Dynamic Directions community as it relates to, we're all, basically at home trying to work, so let's have a little fun that way. So what I'd say, sorry, look at my notes here, I want to make sure I got everything covered. Reach out to us. If you need anything, we're here. Our coaches, our team, I've been on numerous calls and coaching sessions, sometimes late at night, sometimes early in the morning. We want to be here for you. I believe, again, this is going to be one of the greatest opportunities we ever had in our practice to really shine for our clients, build a lot of loyalty, make ourselves a lot more referable at this point, capture a lot of new money. I'm already hearing great stories. I was just on a call right before I got on here. One advisor just got a $400,000 check yesterday. So it's happening, and you have that opportunity to bring on new clients. It may sound counterintuitive to some people when we say, geez, the market's down. Why would I want to bring on new clients right now? Well, because you're there to help satisfy what's needed from a leadership standpoint, to provide that calmness, to provide the logic. There's a lot of do-it-yourselfers out there who are figuring out, hey, this isn't easy. You've got a lot of clients of your competitors who are not getting that same type of service. They're not getting that experience. They're not getting that leadership that you can provide right now. So let's be bold. Let's ask for the referrals. Let's go after that new business. We're going to come out of this, I think, in a much stronger position on many facets of our practice as the new normal emerges, whenever that is. But until then, let's keep business as usual from the standpoint, let's get out there, let's serve our clients, let's be accessible, let's pivot and change when we need to, let's over-communicate to our clients, over-communicate to our team, say thank you and give praise to our team, and I believe we're going to be in a great position for this. So with that said, as always, it's great to be with you right here from the D2 home office in Owensboro, Kentucky. So be bullish on life, and you will win big.
As we go through changes during these unusual times, we all experience stress. And it's really important to reduce stress during these unusual times. Here's some techniques that you can use to keep stress down. Stress is the biggest thief of performance. It's one of the biggest inhibitors that really holds us back. Now, a little bit of stress is good for us. It lights the fire. It can motivate us. Think about a professional athlete that's trying to be the best, someone that's slightly better, and they really up their game and just get a little bit better. That kind of stress is good for us. When stress becomes too great and the weight of the world is on us, it's really debilitating. So here's some ways to contain stress and reduce it, and really should be framing it around energy management, because stress not only steals away performance, steals away energy, and it may not be physical, maybe mental energy. It may feel more drained during these unusual times than normal. So pay attention to you. Where is your stress coming from? Is there a certain topic or area of your life or your business that when you focus on it, it brings you stress? Is there a certain time of day or certain people you're talking to that give you stress? Just pay attention to that. If you can identify your stressors, then we have a chance to contain them and possibly reduce or completely eliminate whatever that stressor might be. And another thing to pay attention to is your life roles, and try and keep some semblance of balance right now. It's really difficult when you're working from home and all of your roles are suddenly all jammed together. So many people are working from home. There might be a spouse and a parent, and it all is kind of happening all at once. And it's really important to have different time dedicated to the different roles in your life. It's hard to handle multiple roles. Studies show human beings aren't good at that. And if you're trying to juggle and have plate spinnings in 3 or 4 different areas of your life, you're not going to be very effective. So have dedicated time to work. Be intense about it, be at your best, and then have designated time to get out and be another role. Maybe be a parent for a while while kids are at home or they're doing their studies from home. Have some dedicated time to help them. Have some dedicated time with your significant other that's away from the other roles so you can focus on that. So try and find some balance there. Don't let them all blend together. It will create more stress and drain more energy. Try and have some separation, go from one role to the other. And the other aspects around stress and energy management that are important, it really comes down to what do you put in your body, what's your daily movement or exercise, and what's your sleep like. So I read Tom Brady's book, TB12. If you don't know who Tom Brady is, you've probably been living under a rock, but it's unbelievable the intensity that Tom Brady goes to in his health routine. You know, what he puts in his body is very precise. Now, when we get stressed and our routine gets out of whack, sometimes we put things into our body that aren't ideal for us, and it contributes to, an energy drain. So be careful about that. If you need to snack, do a healthy snack. Don't have junk or sugary things that lead to crashing after that sugar rush. So just pay attention to what you're putting in your body. Move every day, even to just go out, walk outside, get some fresh air, come in. Even though everyone's staying at home, you are allowed to do that. Go get some fresh air. It's really important. I'd have designated times during the day to do that, just to keep yourself recharged. And just going out, taking a deep breath can really be very, very refreshing. But get out, move, exercise daily. It's really important. Again, when our routine changes, it's tough to keep that up. So we have to build a new routine, and it might take weeks to get that routine in place. But stay moving. And sleep is so important. It's something that I've taken for granted over the years. When I was back in my early days in music, or my early years as an advisor in New York, I viewed sleep as practice for death. It's really unhealthy. I could stay up all night or sleep on a couple hours and still go 100 miles an hour. And as we age every day and every year, we need sleep more. But sleep is so important for your stress management, energy management. Going back to Brady's TB12 book, the amount of value he placed on sleep was significant. So be sure you're getting proper sleep, good sleep. If you need some help, falling asleep, use some breathing techniques. We had a great D2 video with Dr. Zach Gerbarg on how to do that. It's great to do as you're falling asleep, to let all the thoughts get out of your mind and relax your body and really get solid sleep. So these techniques are good. I definitely go back and watch Zach's video and learn some of those. But one of the best, I think, stress management, energy management things you can do is redirection. Do something different that's not in your normal routine. I talked to somebody that said, you know what, I went out and I worked in my garage and cleaned it up, and it felt so great to do something different. I felt like I accomplished something. I wasn't thinking about all the other stressors in life. So find some way to redirect. Whether it's watching Tiger King on Netflix or doing a house project, do something different to get yourself out of the normal routine, have some redirection. It will help you recharge. You'll have more energy for the other roles in your life and be much more effective. So identify stress, keep it down, take care of you, get some redirection, especially on the weekends. Everyone stay bullish, stay awesome, and we'll talk to you soon.